Okay, welcome back to lesson 37. Now, um, over the past week, I've taken a week off from the people that was watching my lessons at the beginning. So I am currently at this point about a week behind because there has been all sorts of real life issues and stuff that we've been doing. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. Also, over the past week, I've decided I didn't really like the look of my previous shoulders and the arms with the blades, and I changed only a little bit of the boots as well. So these three objects from my previous lessons I have rechanged, made them a little better. I think they look a bit better than before. They looked a bit bulky and round and smooth and not sharp and pointy. I like sharp and pointy. So I've made the armor shoulders a bit pointy and sharp, and I quite like the look of them better now than what they looked like before. And I wanted to add the rotating sphere inside the armor piece at some point, which I've always wanted to do, and including the arms here. I've also wanted to add a bit more detail to the blades and make it look really nice. Not too much, because as the saying goes, less is more. So less going on is more what you can see in this case, I suppose. But anyway, it could look a little jagged on that, like on the edge of the blade, but that's not to worry, because we are going to retopologize this in a later lesson. As first, well, actually, we do actually retopologize this in the next couple of lessons. So that is actually that is correct, actually. So the first 3 minutes of this video, I'm just going over it and showing you what they look like, as I haven't done any video on modelling these, because I was just trying to speed run it through and try and get it to the way I like the look of them. Also with the boots, the only changes I did with the boots is the little spikes on the side here. They were coming off the back of the boot, sticking backwards, but I changed it to just connecting like that. I thought it'd just look a little more, a little better, I thought. But I suppose you could still have them set pointing off if you wanted to, and just stretch and use the grab tool and modify that if you wish. And I also thought I'll try and connect these up to the lower leg of the armor as well, because now we've got three pieces there. I was looking at a lot of armor, and the boots tend to be attached to the feet and the lower leg, but I've done it a little bit differently because we will be rigging this later on. So without further ado, we're going to dive straight in, and we are going to retopologize the wrist and the blade. That is going to be our first part we are going to do. Okay, so what we are going to do is press Shift A. We are going to bring in a mesh, a plane. We're going to go straight into edit mode, and we're going to leave the origin point where it is in object mode, and just go straight to edit mode. We're going to bring that down, rotate it into place to the top of the arm shoulders. Doesn't have to be accurate, I was just rotating it using my buttons number mouse that I have. So as we're just rotating this, we are also going to symmetrize this. We're going to mirror this as well. So we're going to scale this down to a nice, to a good fit, and we're just going to move this over to our right. So when we symmetrize this, we are on the y-axis. So we want to keep on the y-axis throughout making this for the wrist, just like we did for when we were sculpting it. So we want the origin point to the center of the wrist, and we want to move the 3D cursor to the origin point. So we're going to right click the arm. We're going to set the origin point to the center of the arm, then we're going to press Shift S, and we're going to put the 3D cursor to the origin point, click back onto the little plane we brought in, we're going to reset all positions transforms, and then we're going to right click again and then set to the 3D cursor for the origin point. Then we can then go to the mirror multiplier, the mirror modifier, get my words in a twist, and then we can select on the y-axis and take it off the x-axis. So this is a perfect way and a perfect symmetrical way of doing this. So we'll do this for each piece of the armor as we go through. At this point, this is basically what we're now going to do till the end of the model, which is retopologizing everything for the armor pieces. And then closer near to the end, we will merge all the body parts together, and we'll go through all the weight painting and the rigging on a later lesson. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go over to our object properties over here, and then we're going to just change the color. So as you can see on the viewport display, we're going to select like a gold color. My thoughts are, at the moment, we could change this later on, it's not a problem, but for now we can have this as at a gold color. So this is actually on the object properties, not on the material, just so we can see it better when we are modeling this. It's very helpful sometimes when sculpting and retopologizing over certain areas. Or you can go to your viewport and hit random colors if you prefer. I will show you later on probably how to do that. And also I always like to tick the clipping box, as you can see in the mirror there. So when you do bring them together like so, it is together and they don't overlap. So as you can see, your snap tool is turned on. We have select face. It's up to you. I switch between different options on the drop down options on the snap tool, on active and closest. It's probably good for closest when you're extruding. So if you press Alt Z, you can go into the X-ray vision like so. So you can see what you're extruding and you can see the object. So here we've got set to closest, and we want to on medium point for now on the left hand side of the snap. So what we're going to do is we're just going to extrude and snap it to the crease that we created with the sculpt tool, as you can see. And we're going to extrude this all the way down. And we're also switching between 2 and 1. Well, 1, 2 or 3, which is your selection for your vertices, edges and faces. So we want to select number 1, select the vertex and then press G, and I pressed the wrong button. Press G and then we are going to snap it to the outside of the line. So a lot of this now is very manual, and is a lot of manual work in this. This is without using any add-ons, without using any this is all free. Everything in this entire lesson is all free. Everything, you don't need to buy any add-ons, don't need to do any downloads, any packages or anything. So 100% free, just for the lessons and the course and that you paid for, and then everything you got here in the videos is for free. You don't need any add-ons, any extras added on, or microtransactions as people call. So I'm going to speed this up now. So all I'm doing here is extruding the edge, and we're just snapping it up against the sculpt, the sculpting arm that we created in the previous lesson. So we're just then now snapping every vertex to the position we want it, going all the way around and going down under. Once we're done all the way around like so, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press E on this outer edge, and then I'm going to bring this up, and I want to make this a point. So I have just grabbed the vertex and then just snap that to the top center, and then I want to make sure this one that I've got grabbed, you want to make them in line, and you always want to make sure they're quads. Try and avoid triangles if you can. This could cause confliction and more time-consuming errors later on if you do miss. So always try and keep to quads. So that is 4 vertices, 4 edges to make one face. And then now I'm selecting the inner side, and you press F. When you're pressing F, it extrudes both of the edges like so. But before we do that, what we're going to actually do is we're going to select this edge at the top here, and then we're going to hold Control and select the whole edge along here. This is another quick way of extruding. So after selecting all the edges, you can sometimes press E to extrude, then S to scale. It does work sometimes, depending on what it is you're trying to scaling. In this method, it's not working very well. So what we will do is we'll also turn the snap off when we're doing this, otherwise it will start acting funny, like you just saw. So we are just going to Control Z, and we're just going to extrude this normally. I don't need to turn the snap tool on right now. I left it off, but if you do want to use the snap tool, it doesn't have to be turned on when it's highlighted blue. You can hold Control, and when holding Control, it will let you snap to wherever you want to snap it to, which is very handy from time. But because we're going to use the snapping tool a lot, we will be turning that on. So now I want to go to Active for the vertex, and when I've grabbed this vertex, I can then snap it to the other vertex, as you can see. Sometimes it's not very accurate. You might accidentally snap to something in the back. So what we're going to do is, so if you want to be very accurate, we will press Shift S once on the selected active vertex, and then move the 3D cursor, select the other one, press M, and then you can merge it to the active 3D cursor. It's another way of merging your vertices together, or you can select the little icon in the top right corner there, and that will automatically merge the vertices together when you snap them together. Again, can be very handy when you're doing long periods of snapping, and it is very, very helpful as well. Just keep an eye on it though, because there might be some parts, there might be some areas you might not want it to snap when you want to create extra faces in certain areas. So same again, I'm just going to go all the way along this line that we created, we extruded out, and I'm just grabbing the vertex and then just pressing G and then snapping it to the sculpted model. So we're going to be doing this all the way around. Don't worry if it's lumpy and bumpy and it's like all squiggly on the sculpt. That's not a problem. We will be fixing this later on. We can go over it with a nice, we can actually use the sculpt method and probably just drag the vertices, or we can just drag it normally in edit mode. Looking at this, I think I've accidentally extruded a piece I didn't want, so I'll just Control Z and go back. And then again, I'm just going to extrude this out, and this is going to be the outer edge of the gold-plated armor piece. So sometimes you can do things a little bit differently. And now what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to press F. I'm just going to click in each corner and press F instead of extruding all the edges along. Now, what I would normally do in this area, so this is just for viewing to show you. You can just press F and grab each vertex and go along, or you can select all the edges, press E to extrude. You can scale if it works. If not, don't worry. You can, or sometimes you can press Alt E. What that will do is it will extrude along the edges in a specific direction. It's definitely worth a try. It can save you a bit of time when you are retopologizing a model like this. Or you can just click in each corner like so, press F to grab it and then go all the way along. And then go back over if you need to, or change any vertices and place them better. But that's everything for now for this lesson. It's a bit longer than normal. That's okay, because we had a lot of changes from at the beginning. So hopefully we're going to dive straight in and we'll continue this in the next lesson.